Hello test takers, welcome back to Exam Prep Solutions, and today I'm going to discuss what calculator you should use for the FE exam. What are the approved calculators? What are my recommendations? What should we be looking for? That's all going to be in this quick video here, so you can find your calculator and then get on to studying for the FE exam and hopefully passing the test. You can check out all of our practice questions on our channel. So we're going to cover the NCES guidelines, the approved calculators that they have, my personal recommendation, and then some final thoughts on using calculators for the FE exam. So what calculators are approved by NCES? And you don't want to take any chances here. You want to use the calculators that they have approved on their list. That's the link for this page that I pulled up, but this is just a snippet they have for the calculator policy. To protect the integrity of its exams, NCES limits the type of calculators examinees may bring to the exam sites. The list of approved calculators is reviewed annually. The following calculator models are the only ones acceptable for use during the 2022 exams. We have for Casio, we have all the FX115, FX991 models. Any Casio calculator must have those in its name. The Hewlett-Packard's HP33S and HP35S models. And then the Texas Instruments, all TI-30X and TI-36 models. Any Texas Instrument calculator must have TI-30X or TI-36X. So that's what their guidelines state. So here's some approved Casio models. I personally own the one on the left. That's the one I used for my FE exam. The FX115 ES Plus is also another good model. And then we have the Casio FX991, which I have not used, but those are some approved Casio brands. I'll have links in the description down below to all these different brands that I'm listing here. But those are just some samples. I use the one on the left for both my FE and PE. It's a solid calculator. It's not a bad way to go. We have the Texas Instruments one. These are pretty common as well. Both should work easily for your test. The TI-30X is just a little simpler version of the 36. There are some advanced operations that you can do on the FE exam that might give you an edge on the exam, but nothing too crazy that you need like a crazy graphing calculator for. Obviously, they limit you with what calculators you can use. But those are some of the options there. And then there's the Hewlett-Packard brands, which I haven't seen anyone use, but apparently they're approved. They're also very, very expensive. These are like $100, $200 calculators as opposed to these. I found the one on the left in the center here for like $20 bucks. Same thing with the Texas Instruments ones. I've never actually seen these Hewlett-Packard ones, and they're pretty expensive. So I guess if you want to break the bank, you can go for those, but I haven't seen anyone use those. And so the people on YouTube, especially me, using calculators for our tests, we tend to use these brands, and so it might be a good idea to pick those up because they're going to be showing you operations to use, and they're going to be using these calculators. So that's just a personal opinion of mine. My recommendation would be go with one of these two here. I have it in the description down below, but even that center Casio model might be good. And either the Texas Instrument ones are also fine to use as well on the test. Now, when it comes to using a calculator on the exam, probably through college, you've been using a specific calculator, maybe a Casio, maybe a Texas Instrument one. I would stick with what you're familiar with the closest. Now, maybe you have one that's not on the approved list, but maybe just stick with the brand you're using. If you're using TI calculator, stick with TI. Just get the appropriate model. If you're using Casio, then get the appropriate Casio one. You don't want to change up what calculator you're using right before the exam. That's just not going to be a good way to go. So stick with the brand that you've been using. Just get the correct model. The operations and the layout will be the same. You won't spend all this time trying to go back and forth, trying to figure out what to do with the calculator and stuff like that. Read your calculator's manual. If there's any sort of special operations that you want to learn, such as taking integrals or things like that, because these calculators are capable. They can do that. They just have different ways of doing it. So there's just different ways to accomplish the same thing. And so when you finally get your calculator that you're going to use, or maybe you already own it, the key is to do lots of problems with that calculator. Don't use your phone calculator for your FE practice problems. Okay, that's just going to set you back. Use the calculator you're going to use on the test. Get as familiar with that thing as possible so you know it backwards and forwards, so you never have to think about what operations I need to be doing, finding things and things like that. You know exactly what you're doing, and it's not going to hold you back. So that's my final thoughts. Use what is comfortable and familiar. Get lots of practice. Learn the advanced operations on that calculator, and then you'll be good to go for the test. You won't even have to think about it when you get there. You can think about solving problems, and you're not fumbling around with your calculator. Make sure that when you bring it to the test, you bring your calculator, you bring an extra pair of batteries, or in my case, I actually brought another calculator with me just in case. I mean, if it's $15, $20, the FE exam for me, it was worth it. So maybe you want to get 2 just in case. I don't know. But it's good to have and make sure. Now, typically the calculators don't run out of batteries. That's just a safeguard though. But for a test as important as that, I wasn't going to take any chances. So that's my final thoughts. If you have any questions, leave in a comment down below. I have the recommendations in the description, and we will see you guys next time.